Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Picture this scenario for a second. You and your team have just spent months, maybe even entire quarters, drafting this absolutely comprehensive, beautiful impact strategy. You've had the endless meetings, you've crunched all the numbers, you've finalized the sleek design. And then? Well, then that expensive document goes straight into a three-ring binder on a shelf. Or, it becomes a buried PDS in some random desktop folder, just collecting dust. Meanwhile, your actual team on the ground, they are scrambling in total chaos. Welcome to our deep dive on how to actually transform that static, deadweight binder into a living, breathing impact dashboard.
Exactly. It's the big question, right? Why do these impact strategies fail so often? You know exactly how frustrating it is when your daily in-the-weeds operations completely disconnect from your grand, overarching mission. Just visualize your current workflow for a moment. If you're like, well, most organizations out there, your program managers are desperately chasing immediate deliverables, while your fundraisers are stuck in a completely different silo chasing dollars. And leadership, they're usually just trying to find some sort of reporting metric to keep everybody happy. It is a completely exhausting cycle, and it just drains your organization's energy.
Now, consider this massive number, 74%. Recent sector data shows us that nearly three-quarters of nonprofits cite finding the right grant as their single biggest operational challenge. Really think about that. You have this massive gap between the impact you intend to make and the actual on-the-ground funding reality required to make it happen. So if you're feeling this pinch, you are definitely not alone in the struggle. But, okay, here is the wild contrast to that, 12%. Despite finding the right grant being that huge 74% hurdle, only 12% of organizations are actually utilizing modern AI-powered matching tools to solve it. There is just this massive technological disconnect happening in the sector right now. Most teams are still relying on outdated, highly manual processes to solve what is a thoroughly modern, complex problem. And frankly, that leaves massive amounts of funding simply sitting on the table. Which brings us perfectly to this incredibly relatable quote from the FundRobin team: "The strategy lived in a binder, the team lived in chaos." When your strategy isn't a dynamic, living framework, something your staff actually interacts with every single day, you don't just lose out on funding, you get massive staff burnout. Your team members completely lose the connection between their micro tasks, like updating a spreadsheet, and the macro-level social change your organization actually exists to create. So how do we actually fix this? Let's move right into section 1, the aha moment, logic model versus theory of change. Right, so this is the exact misunderstanding that is likely holding your team back right now. It's treating a static, operational document as if it were a dynamic strategy. On one side, we have the old, rigid way, the logic model. It's totally operational. It's basically a linear grid that tells you the what and when. And hey, it's great for a tactical 6-month roadmap. But on the other side, we have the new smart way, the theory of change. This is conceptual. It answers the why and how. Instead of just drawing a straight line, it actually maps out the complex causal web of preconditions that are necessary for real social change to happen. And this insight from recent sector research absolutely nails why that shift matters. A true theory of change forces you to articulate the assumptions underlying your strategy. Because let's be real, social change does not happen neatly in a straight line. By visualizing your work as a causal web, you're literally forced to prove why you think your work matters. And understanding this difference isn't just some academic exercise. It is exactly how you secure serious institutional buy-in from major funders who want to see that you truly grasp the landscape. Now, let's pivot to a major roadblock you might face when trying to expand that impact. Section 2, the Atlantic Divide, UK versus US compliance. If you're seeking cross-border funding, you have to navigate these strict and, honestly, often contradictory geographic reporting expectations. Mapping your impact early is literally the only way to prevent terrifying, costly bottlenecks. On the UK side, funders are demanding qualitative data. They want narrative reports that focus heavily on public benefit, community feedback, and how your outcomes adapt to changes. But cross over to the US side, and 501c3 expectations lean heavily on quantitative metrics. They want rigid data sets, financial efficiency ratios, and they fully expect your framework to explicitly justify your cost per outcome. It is a massive divide to cross. So, what's the solution? A flexible framework. The absolute only way you can appease both sides of the Atlantic is by ditching that static PDF. You need a living framework that flexes and adapts. It has to provide the qualitative, community-focused narrative that UK regulators want, while simultaneously maintaining the rigorous, hard quantitative data that US foundations demand. All right, let's bring the energy up. How do you actually build this dynamic dashboard for your team? Let's look at Section 3, the action, 4 steps to map your impact.
Okay, building this living framework means you basically have to reverse engineer your impact. You have to clearly define your ultimate destination before you can even begin to plan the route. Let's rapid fire through these. Step 1, identify your ultimate impact. What is the specific, measurable change you want to see in the world? Step 2, backwards mapping. What preconditions must exist for that impact to actually occur? You map those backward until you reach the present day. Step 3, define interventions. What specific resources do you currently have to trigger those immediate outcomes? And finally, step 4, validate assumptions. I really want to zero in on that 4th step for a second because it's perfectly captured by this quote from recent sector data. Unexamined assumptions represent the highest risk factor in nonprofit strategy. This is a huge warning sign. Why do you actually believe that intervention A is going to lead to outcome B? If you don't rigorously test the missing middle between your daily activities and your long-term goals, you are relying on hope, not evidence. And those unexamined links, that is exactly where most grant applications fail the review process. And that naturally leads us directly into the predictable traps that so many teams fall into. First up, treating your strategy as a static document. Honestly, if you don't update it annually, it's obsolete. Second, ignoring that missing middle we just talked about. You literally cannot claim an after-school program ends regional poverty without showing the intermediate steps. And third, overcomplicating the visual model. If you build a framework with like 50 crisscrossing arrows and microscopic text, you will immediately alienate your team. Remember, clarity always outperforms complexity. Let's actually look at how this flexes in the real world with these 2 distinct applications. Say your ultimate goal is reducing youth unemployment. For a UK funder like the National Lottery Community Fund, your living framework shifts to focus on local cohesion, highlighting things like peer mentoring and community advisory boards. But take that exact same goal to the Ford Foundation in the US, and your framework instantly flexes to highlight systemic change, structural policy disruptions, and really strict economic indicators. It's the exact same goal, but entirely different targeted narratives. All right, now for the absolute best part. Section 4 turns strategy into funding.
So we talked about that dreaded burnout earlier, right? Well, when you embed your newly minted living framework into modern grant discovery processes, you completely change the game for your team. Organizations that use these active living frameworks as daily management tools secure continuation funding 30% more often than those using static documents. It makes sense. When funders see that your strategy is genuinely alive and guiding your day-to-day decisions, their confidence in your organization just skyrockets.
And the day-to-day return on investment here is honestly massive. When you pair your clearly defined framework with AI discovery platforms, you can identify highly aligned funders in minutes rather than weeks. Utilizing AI tools to draft customized applications based directly on your validated framework can reduce your proposal writing time by up to an incredible 80%. That is real time your team gets back to actually go out and do the work. And hey, if you're sitting there wondering if this kind of tech-forward approach is just out of reach for your budget, it's really not. The barrier to entry for bringing your strategy out of the dark ages and into an AI-assisted ecosystem has literally never been lower. These tools offer accessible pricing tiers with savings for annual billing, which allows your impact to scale naturally and affordably. It's built for virtually any team to grow. Which leaves us with this final empowering question. Are you ready to bring your strategy out of the binder and into the real world? That endless cycle of grant chaos, the staff burnout, the frantic chasing of misaligned dollars, it is entirely solvable right now. Absolutely, it is a real game changer. By moving from a static logic model to a living, AI-integrated theory of change, you don't just write better grants, you build a stronger, happier, more aligned organization. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Now, go dust off that binder and let's get to work.